turning to Mossad, turning to Israel rather, not just the spy agency of Israel, but to the nation itself. Bibi Netanyahu is reportedly going to occupy Gaza. And look, these are reports coming out of the Israeli press, out of the international press. He is planning to propose fully reoccupying the Gaza Strip when he meets with his security cabinet. The die has been cast, according to local journalists, or according to a senior official quoted by local journalists. The die has been cast. We are going for the full conquest of the Gaza Strip and defeating Hamas. According to reports, the unnamed official said, if that doesn't work for the chief of staff of the army, of the Israeli army, then he should resign because we're doing it. It's going in. We're not asking for advice anymore. We're going to go take Gaza. Now, also being reported, the families of hostages are worried that these plans could endanger their loved ones because it's believed that 20 of the 50 supposed hostages in Gaza are still alive, 20 hostages who are alive. Polls suggest that 3 in 4 Israelis favor a ceasefire deal to return them. So 3 in 4 vast majority of Israelis, according to polls, would rather Israel not conquer the Gaza Strip, would rather Israel leave Hamas in power, but get a ceasefire deal to bring the hostages home. The government, according to all these reports, including from Israeli media, says no. Even if the hostages are going to die, even if the moment we conquer Gaza, they're going to kill all the hostages, we have to do that. That's the better course. My question for I've had the least, in some ways it's the least popular view on the Israel-Gaza conflict, but in many ways I think it's the view of most Americans. It's the least popular view among the media and among activists and politicians. I think it is the actual popular view among most Americans, which is, I broadly have supported Israel. I get Netanyahu's reaction to October 7th, 2023. I do think that the Palestinian Arabs have certain rights. I do think that wars that begin in a just way can turn unjust. I'm a little skeptical of the Israeli actions in the war. I'm deeply troubled by, for instance, that attack, accidental or otherwise, on the one Catholic church in Gaza and some of the reports coming out of the West Bank, and maybe even the mission drift, the fact that this war was supposed to be to get the hostages home, punish Hamas, and yet it moved into bombing Iran and maybe regime change in Iran and occupying southern Syria and all. I'm just a little skeptical. I want to know when the war is going to end, especially because we're funding it as Americans. That's my view. It's a complicated view. It's a nuanced view. It doesn't make Bibi Netanyahu out to be the devil himself. It doesn't pretend that Hamas and the Islamists are in any way on our team or in any way admirable or to be tolerated. It recognizes that there is a distinction between combatants and civilians. I don't know. I know that's not popular in the world of punditry or political prognostication. But I think that's where most Americans are. And so my reaction to this news, having that view, is, I don't know, what's the alternative? What's the alternative to conquest of the Gaza Strip? What Netanyahu is now saying is the objective of the war is the neutralization of Gaza as a political threat, as a security threat. That's it. And that's what I've been wondering. In order to have a just war, you have to, one, have clear military objectives. And then you need to have proportionality, which means not using excess military force to achieve those military objectives. And you need discrimination to discriminate between combatants and civilians. And you need all sorts of a just cause and a legitimate authority and all the rest. But you need proportionality, especially. And that means you need clear objectives. Netanyahu is saying, Gaza proved itself to be an unacceptable security threat right on the border of Israel. We played this game. We used to control Gaza. A lot of people don't even know the history of Gaza, but we allowed Gaza to kind of run its own show, and it's proved itself to be an unacceptable security threat, so we're not going to let them continue to be run in the way that they're run. Okay, fine. That means it's not really about the hostages. It's about neutralizing Gaza. Well, in that case, what are they going to do other than occupy Gaza? They're going to just let Hamas keep running the show? No. They're going to have elections be held. Do you think some other group is going to get elected that's going to be so much better? I don't think so. I mean, before 1967, Gaza was controlled by Egypt. Okay. After the 1967 war, until 2005, Gaza was controlled by Israel. 2005, Israel decides, all right, we're going to give Gaza to the Palestinians. They give it to the Palestinian Authority. That lasts until 2007. 2007, they hold elections. Hamas gets elected. 2023, Hamas rules through 2023. 2023, they attack Israeli civilians. Now Israel's going to go in and take it. Okay. I'm not saying that's wonderful. Oh, that's great that Israel's going to conquer Gaza. It certainly seems quite unfortunate that Gaza's also already basically been obliterated. But I guess for the people who really hate Israel and Netanyahu, what's your solution? If you accept that Israel is a nation, is an actual nation, the Israeli government is a legitimate authority established by the United Nations and a war of conquest and the Balfour Declaration, and it's just, if you believe that any modern nation state is a legitimate nation state, it's hard to argue how Israel is not a legitimate nation state. If you grant all of that, and you grant that Hamas is an unacceptable security risk in an independent Gaza, what's the alternative? Give me the alternative. I'm open. I think I'm like most Americans. I'm pretty open-minded on the issue. What's the alternative? At least now there's a little bit of clarity on the war. And it's not a moment too soon because, as even another pretty right-wing former Israeli prime minister points out, Israel doesn't have any friends anymore. People are sick of this war, and Israel is becoming, in his words, a leper state. That was a good clip. Now stop. Wait a minute. Hold my cup. Put some fruity seltzer in it. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time.